Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Mic'd Up Savages. I'm here today with the general manager, Murph, and today we're going to talk about some of the most preposterous trade ideas given to us by the New York Post. I saw this on the Talking Yankees. Shout out you guys. The first one that I think is the stupidest trade. Luke Voit and Miguel Andujar to the Marlins for Pablo Lopez.
That's no for me, dog. It's just that's way too much value going in for a single player in return.
Who's not even that good. I get it, he's a ground ball pitcher, but
that's not going to solve all our problems, and in fact, it just creates a new one, right? Who do we put at first now, right?
Yeah.
Especially if we let DJ go, which I hope we don't, but you never know, right? And right now it's not looking too good. So if we're really strapped for cash, I think the last thing you should be doing is trading our two best assets for a single pitcher. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And like you have an AL MVP candidate, Luke Voit, and you have Miguel Andujar, former like AL Roy candidate, like who should have won it that year, kind of like for a fourth starter at best, in my opinion.
It doesn't line up to me. It doesn't make sense. That's way too much for a single guy who's not anything that great.
The second trade that I think is absolutely stupid, and I want your take on it, is Clint Frazier and Jonathan Loaizaga to the Rangers for one pitcher, Lance Lynn.
No, it's just that's like, all right, we tried the Lance thing, right? Lance Lynn thing, and that just didn't work, right?
Why go back to it? Like,
why go back, right? Everyone's like, look how good he was, right? It's 60 games, dude. It was a third of a season. Are you really going to be trading? Clint Frazier has really turned around, Gold Glove candidate, and just ripped the cover off the ball this year. Deserves starting left next year. And Loai's got a young arm who potentially has the stuff to be a high-end reliever if we mold him correctly, which we didn't this year. But, if we did, he could do that. So why would we do that for a guy we already tried who it didn't work out? Maybe he comes back and it works out, but why?
Why take the chance?
Yeah, and there's other guys on the market. Like, you could buy a pitcher and it
I'd rather
won't
buy
cost
Corey
you
Kluber.
Yeah, just go out and buy a pitcher. You don't have to go trade for Lance Lynn.
Yeah.
And then who do we put in left, right? And then that doesn't make sense unless they're going out signing like a Jock or another outfielder. That it just doesn't make sense, and that's again way too much value for Lance Lynn. I'm sorry, but he pitched a hell of a year this year, but I'm just not sold on a third of a season.
I mean, I just wouldn't try him again. Like, congrats, dude. You're pitching somewhere else really good. You made up for that kind of like spotty problems in the middle of your career. But, I mean, you just stay over there. I mean, I don't want any of that, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons, right? He could be like a workhorse, like a solid 3 guy because he doesn't really get injured ever. But I just don't see trading Clint Frazier and Loaizaga as a good means to get Lance Lynn. I just don't think it's worth it.
And we'll never have the Lance Lynn in the playoffs when that David Freese run, when he was outstanding that year, Lance Lynn. But we'll never have that again. The third trade that you've seen this before, but the New York Post thinks it's a great idea. Stanton and prospects for the Cubs for Yu Darvish, Jason Hayward, and Craig Kimbrell.
This one's tough for me because I've heard this one before. I didn't know it was and prospects, but that makes sense. It solves a lot of our needs if you really look at it. Like trading Stanton, first of all, long term frees us up from that huge payroll problem. Second of all, we get a starter Yu Darvish who we desperately need.
An NL Cy candidate.
He's a Cy candidate. Again, he's a guy, he's a little mixed bag, but when he's on, right? You saw this year. He can be up there with the best of them. So I think trading for him wouldn't be a bad idea. Adding Craig Kimbrell is a gamble, right? Because relievers are kind of finicky, right? One year they're like on top of the world, and next year they're like rock bottom, like almost out of the league.
You don't know what Kimbrell you're going to get.
Yeah, so that's a huge gamble, but when he's on, again, he's that high octane arm. You could throw in the back of the bullpen, and he can help out a lot, especially since we're not getting a Canely back this year. He unfortunately elected to be a free agent. And Jason Hayward, is that the third one, right?
Yeah, Jay Hay.
Yeah, he's, again, another kind of mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get. He's
lefty bat, too, in Yankee Stadium. I mean,
lefty bat.
we
You
don't
can
have
plug
a lot
him
of
in.
lefties.
So the reason I would lean towards yes on this trade is because I think it frees us up with a lot of versatility and potential to make other deals, right? Because if you bring in Jason Hayward, he can really plug him in the left, and that opens you up to trade Clint. And you can use Clint to go get something like another reliever, another arm, maybe a shortstop, Lindor. It opens up a whole bunch of things. And trading Stan opens up our DH spot because right now our DH is going to be Stan for the rest of time until he retires at this point, or we trade him. So this is tempting, but we're taking on a lot of money in return. So it also kind of handcuffs us on what we can do afterwards. We'd have to get really creative.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, maybe you take the Yu Darvish and you move him again for a player. You move him for an infielder if you don't sign the DJ, and somehow this trade happens. Lot of possibilities, but it's also a lot of money on the table. This one I like just because we're getting this scumbag off our team. Gary Sanchez to the Rockies for David Dahl and Tony Walters.
I actually like that a lot.
I like this too.
I like David Dahl a lot. I like him a lot.
Lefty bat, power bat, and Walters is a versatile player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also a catcher.
Those are two really good guys to get back. I actually love that deal. I'd say yes immediately. If the Rockies were going to offer us that deal, I'd take it. Yeah, David's I think he's underrated, but I think that's mainly because of the injuries, right? He's gone up and down with injuries, but I think when he's on, he's really consistent. He's a good power lefty.
And like I'm reading right now, Sanchez will cost roughly what Dahl and Walters would make combined in 2021. And it's like, let's go do this deal now. Cause I don't mind getting rid of Sanchez because you're going to get a catcher in return.
I'll tell you what, and Sanchez would probably love it in Colorado, dude.
He'd probably be an NL MVP candidate.
He'd be a walking 40, dude.
He'd be a walking 40, and good for him. But he just can't do it in New York.
I think he needs a change of scenery. If I'm being honest, like I'd love them to fix him, obviously, but I don't know. It just seems like.
Shout out Gary.
But I just think the whole thing, like. I was reading what Didi spoke about Gary, and he said, yeah, he just doesn't like the mark of being called lazy, right? I don't think he's ever going to shake that at this point until, like, he really proves something. And so far, it's just been nothing but downhill. So I think a change of scenery is exactly what he needs to get back on his feet.
Like, he can be lazy all he wants if he's hitting 40 homers, 45 homers, but you're not. So something's got to give for you, Gary, if you're going to stay in New York. If not, I'd say yes in a heartbeat for this deal. You need a lefty bat in Dahl, power bat. He could probably be like either a 6 or a 3 hitter in the lineup. So that he's a deadly weapon when healthy. And I think Walters may be a switch hitter too. He possibly
that would be cool. That would be really cool.
This deal, which I think is possible, but it's a lot of money, I think, also on the table. And last one of the day from the New York Post. Stanton, $19 million, and a prospect to the Padres for Eric Hosmer and Will Myers.
I did see this one too. This one's also interesting to me. This one I'm not as excited about. I think Myers had a really good year this year.
Very outstanding good.
Outstanding year. But again, I'm not sure if I'm sold. Because it's a third of the season. How you don't know how he's going to be in a full season. But if he could replicate those numbers or get anywhere near that, I'd say yes. I'd probably say yes. But Hosmer is also a big question mark. I don't know what you do with Hosmer. You're probably going to have to move Luke Voigt too. So again, this one it opens up the possibility for things. I guess ultimately, like getting Sten, freeing up the DH. Maybe allowing you to trade a Voigt or move Voigt to DH and have those two interchange from Hosmer and Voigt first to DH. I don't know. This one's tempting. I can't really say yes or no either way.
So I mean, you're getting a good fielder in Eric Hosmer. He has a lefty power bat. When he's on, he's outstanding. His RBI and slugging is normally very good. And then Will Myers, his glove may be, but his bat is through the roof from what we've seen this season. He turned it around, but then again, like you said, it's only been a third of the season. Overall, it's not horrible deals by the New York Post. I just think the Luke Voigt trade and Andy Harper Lopez is stupid.
Yeah, that one's just beyond dumb. I don't know who wrote that, but they should stop.
Yeah.
Don't come up with any more trade ideas.
Let us write for you guys, New York Post. Sponsor us. Why not? But then you got the Clint Frazier and Loizaga trade for Lance Lynn. You're giving up way too much for something that's almost done with his career kind of thing,
Yeah, I mean, that one's not too bad. But again, it's just one of those things where I wouldn't take that gamble if I'm the Yankees, right? I think there's other options on the free agent market you can go get right now. Like a guy like Corey Kluber. I think I'd much rather go get Kluber than try to sign a Lance Lynn. Just
Facts. 100%. And I honestly would rather spend money on like a Brad Hand instead of like paying a Kluber, paying a Lance Lynn. So, yeah. And then with that, you're keeping two good players. So, yeah. Well, thank you, General Manager Murph. Always nice having your insight here on the Mic'd Up Savages. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining me again. Have a good one. And baseball winter meetings are starting, I think, soon. So it's going to be a wild off season.
Yeah, going to be crazy.
It's going to be good. Later.